But welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Now, in today's big story, 9 lives have been laid to rest in one graveyard, one community mourning, one country asking the same questions over and over again. How long will this continue? Now in Plateau State, families gathered for a mass burial after a deadly attack that left at least 9 people dead. It is a familiar headline, but for the families in that community, it's not statistics, it's further. It's fathers, it's mothers, it's children, it's relatives. The central question this morning is always a very simple one, really. Are we responding to insecurity, or are we merely reacting to tragedy?
Now, this latest attack has once again thrown a spotlight on rural vulnerability and the persistent security gaps across Plateau communities. Our correspondent has been tracking the incidents from the ground, speaking with residents, local authorities, and also security sources. And, well, to bring us to an understanding of what exactly happened and how. Chizoba brings us this report.
This is certainly not the first time locals in Plateau State are caught up in this kind of ceremony. Family, friends, government officials, religious leaders, and indeed community members were all gathered here for this sad event. Governor Caleb Mutfwang, represented by the State Commissioner for Environment, Peter Gwom, reassured of government's resolve to improve security in the state.
We are here as a government and will give all necessary support to make sure that these families of the bereaved and the communities are helped in any way possible that we can. So please and please, let's take heart. Also, I want to encourage you all that as we have seen a trend at the moment, that these people visit and kill us in the night. Let's stay off mining sites after 6 p.m. Let's stay off beer parlors after 6 p.m. for now.
There were calls on key state actors to rise up to their responsibilities to end these killings.
Let the Operation Enduring Peace be relocated to Fulani domain. By that, their excesses, their banditry, their terrorism will be checked, and then they will not have any reason to come into our domains. And let all the military gadgets that are used in monitoring our environments, let it all be deployed to the Fulani domain, where they have hosted the terrorists that are terrorizing the peace people of Plateau.
I want to beg, with a big voice, the illustrious sons of Barkiladi, political appointees, whoever has the responsibility of checking and then helping the people, let's come together as one people to fight this common cause.
Again and again, this is a call to action. This is a call for people to match their words with action so that security personnel, government officials, and indeed all stakeholders that have a responsibility to maintain law and order and security of both lives and property rise up to this challenge to ensure that people go about their lawful businesses without any fear of any provocation. In Plateau State for News Central, Chizoba, Anionwe.
And indeed, Chizoba Anionwe joins us now, live from Plateau State, alongside Nengi, Jephthah, Deputy Commissioner of Police Operations, Plateau State Command. Gentlemen, Chizoba, you're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Chizoba, thank you very much for the report which you brought to us during the week. But we also hear that there was another instance of, an attack from last night. Can you first start off by telling us about that?
Good morning, Mazino. Okay, that recent attack was on last night. It was Thursday night in Tudunwada area of
Chizoba, unfortunately, we can't hear you.
Area.
Please, if you're
Hang on a second. We're going to come back to you. I think we have some issues from here, but we'll come back to you. But let's come to the commissioner. Let's come to the CP, sir. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. Now, Deputy Commissioner, I would like to find out from you and ask you about the state of security in Plateau State. We've been seeing instances where these have become heightened only the past couple of weeks or months, and we're wondering exactly why this is so. From your authority, from your point of view, please do tell us what's happening exactly in Plateau State.
Thank you very much and good morning.
Yes.
You recall that for quite some time we've been having relative peace on the plateau. We have not had these killings for some time, and that is because we've been going around the clock to ensure that people go about their businesses. But just unfortunately, on the 16th of this month, there was a killing. The 3 persons were killed in a barricade at the local government. And while we are trying to unravel those behind the killing, there was a reprisal where 9 persons were killed, and just 2 days interval, 4 others were killed. And these are killings that were very unfortunate, avoidable things. And the police trying to ensure that those who are responsible for this killing are arrested and brought to book. While we are trying to do that, because the last set of people that were killed were business men from Just Not, and you know,
CP Nengi, we seem to have lost connection with you. If you can hear us, please do confirm. I think we've lost connection with the CP, but we'll try and regain connection with him in just a bit.
Chizoba, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can. If you can hear me.
Apologies for that. Now, I know that Mazino had asked a question earlier when we got disconnected. However, I think I'd like to hear from you because you were on ground during the mass burials. What did the residents tell you about security presence before the attack? And were there any warning signs that went unaddressed?
Okay, thanks again for having me this morning. Usually, these locals would say that there were early warning signs, like sometimes they get to have information that there will be an attack. And according to them, they send these same reports to security agencies, hoping that they will take proactive measures to engage these miscreants, so to speak. But this particular incident, these last 3 incidents that happened, we did not get to hear about any information, prior information given to them, so they couldn't pass anything to the security agencies. So no one knows who has this blame now, whether because the information did not get to them on time or not. No one can speak on that. But for them, they feel they do not have enough security presence in their local communities. And so they do not know the reason behind this. For them, they want to feel their presence. They want to see them like in their communities. Let them have the feeling that these guys are here for us, that at any beck and call, they will be there to save them, to swiftly move into action so that all these death tolls won't be there any longer. But sadly, they keep crying that they do not get to see these people around. And so at the time of any attacks, before they could reach out to these security agents or personnel around, the events would have been carried out by these unknown gunmen, of course. So their cry is that they do not get to see security presence until sometimes when this deed has already been done. However, these police or security agents will tell you that they have their checkpoints and where they stay to monitor. Of course, they will tell you that they can't be everywhere at the same time. They lack personnel. So that's one of the major challenges here. So if these personnel are on ground, these locals feel that these things won't continue to happen like this. Just like the DCP said earlier, I mean, in just 1 week or in a space of 10 days, Plateau State has lost like more than 10, 15 people.
Wow. Just
2 nights ago, in Tudunwada area of Bassa local government area, you know, a family of 5 was cleared by bandits. 4 days before that, a man was shot dead in his house. So, I mean, this is not about people moving around or loitering around at odd hours of the day and all of those. But when people are killed in their own homes, inside their houses, sleeping, I mean, what's the security again that they are violating? Do you understand? So their cry and their call is that security personnel should, I mean, rise up to this challenge. It's becoming a very unbearable one. So in Plateau State for now, I would say that it is wearing a gloomy look because nobody is happy about this incident. And sadly, no one knows if it has actually come to an end.
Okay.
However, the Commissioner of Police in the state has been, I mean, behind all of these recent proactive measures, swift measures too, I would say, to ensure that this does not continue. I think that was what the DCP was going to speak on before
exactly,
he was locked out.
So let's come back to the DCP. The DCP has rejoined us. DCP Nengi Jephthah is with us again. Sir, thank you very much. You've heard what our correspondent Chizoba has said. But sir, there's something that is very, very unique here, where we have a situation where we're always hearing about these attacks, but we haven't yet gotten to the root of it when it comes to Plateau State. Why exactly are these attacks happening? Are these communal violence, but over what exactly? Have investigations gone as far as identifying what the real cause of these violence are?
Thank you very much.
Yes.
We have said it repeatedly that the most important thing is from every department or from all the sections, the farmers, herders, natives, Fulanis, you have people who want to carry out certain things that are not in line with what the majority of the people expect. And so what we normally tell them, and we continue to mention that from all backgrounds, that they should come together and identify crime clearly. And when that is done, it will be easier for us to fight crime. They should not look at crime as a religious something or herder farmers. The moment in every community, you have people who are law abiding. Those who are committing this crime, they are very few. And that is why we encourage them to form vigilante groups that will be made up of both the Muslims, Christians, farmers, herders. The moment we are able to do that, we will now not look at, we won't give any color to crime and criminality. So what we are trying to say is that a lot of people have their own version. Some are saying farmers, herders, Christians, Muslims, but we are saying that let us drop that. Let everybody come together. See crime as a crime against society. Let us not look at it from one angle. The moment we can come together and identify crime and deal with these criminals decisively, of course, we'll have relief. Plateau State,
but DCP, sir,
if not...
DCP said, but crime doesn't happen in isolation. There's often a reason why people would go about committing crime. It's either because they're selfish about something or, or they have interests. What are these interests? What are these details to the reason why this continues to happen? Whether it's farmer herder, whether it's religious, if there is an identity to it, then we would know exactly how to tackle it. And that's what people are saying, that identity is missing, even if it's multifaceted. What are these natures? Is it mineral based? Because people say that the resources in Plateau State are causing people to perpetrate these crimes, or is it just simple disagreements between communities? Why hasn't there been an identification of the issue itself?
Okay, thank you. Well, we've said that repeatedly. Before this time, people feel that
Thank you so much for staying with us. Chizoba, I want to just come to you quickly before we go back to the Deputy Commissioner. Chizoba, can you give us a bit of intel about last night's attack? What exactly happened, and what information do we have so far?
Okay, thank you so much for staying with us this morning. You usually these local would say that there were early warning signs, like some times they get to
Okay, like I said earlier, it wasn't last night, it was Thursday night when
Okay.
this attack happened in Miango district, the Student Wada area in Miango district of Basta local government area. So details are not yet fully available, but what is clear is that a family of 5 was killed. So in their house while sleeping at night. Details said about 9 p.m., 10 p.m. No one is still sure, but as these developments unravel, we'll get to those details. So for this one, nobody can say what actually happened. It wasn't like there was a fight or a farmer herder clash or anything like that, or cattle rustling. These are usually triggers to such attacks. But since this one is just on a family, no one can say for sure what happened. Unfortunately, all the family members in the house was killed. So there's no one that can say exactly this is what transpired or that was what happened before they were killed. No one knows. So we still rely on details from security agencies to say exactly what happened if they were around at the time of this incident. So the Development Association there, but they are living in fears. That's what the authorities said. They are living in fears.
Just a bit more. The family, where were they residing? Is this an urban area, a rural area? What exactly is the anatomy of the environment where this happened?
Okay, not really in an urban area, because these attacks usually are in the hinterlands, in the rural areas, where I think these bandits know that road connectivity, telecommunication accessibility is very, very poor. Sometimes you even get that there's no network to make calls. To access these communities is a very big challenge because of the bad road networks and even the road itself. Accessibility, most of them are not motorable. So gaining access is a problem. However, since this has been pointed as major challenges reaching these communities at the time of attacks, I think it's time for the government and even the security agencies to be more proactive in this. You know that the roads are bad. Why not fix the roads? There is no telecommunication network there. Why not make it available? Sometimes there's no electricity and all of this. So these are all challenges. So I think this is where every party has to play a role. If this is your own part, play it. If these things, I think, are put in place in their right places and on time, some of these challenges will be curtailed.
All right,
if we have, let's say, drones or all these digital devices in place, I'm sure these things will be happening like rapidly the way they are these days.
Chizoba, I asked that question because I needed it to buttress the question I've been trying to ask the DCP. Now, Deputy Commissioner, we're back to you again. We hope that the network will hold out this time. It's been playing ping pong with us. But Deputy, you've just heard what our correspondent has told, and I've been trying to ask you about the identity of these crimes specifically. The reason why I asked where this happened is so we have an idea of reach, how accessible it is, not just by individuals, but also by the authorities. Now, if we know about the conditions of these areas, why do the authorities still have issues attending to security or securing these people, these hinterland dwellers and all? But first, back to the identity, the real identity of these crimes you were speaking about before we lost connection, sir.
Okay, thank you. Like I've said, so far we've been able to appreciate the fact that it is not a collective decision to commit crime. There is no community will go, that the whole community will come together and say, this is what we are going to do to commit crime. But anywhere you go, you have some dissidents, people who want to commit crime for reasons best known to them. But like I was saying, one of the things that we have come to appreciate here is about the issue of farmers, herders. There are times they will have some disagreement. You will see maybe some cows will stray into the farm. And even the state government, appreciating this situation, set up committees in all the local governments. And when that happens, sometimes they will quickly meet, and if there is need for compensation to do that. But even while they are doing that, there are some people who believe that whenever there is problem, that is when they earn their living. Merchants of war. You see, all these things will continue to happen. So that's why we are saying that I don't want to believe that it's between Christians, Muslims, it's between farmers, herders in totality. There are people in every community who want to commit crime, whether Plateau or Bayelsa or River, anywhere you go, there are people who want to commit crime. So that is why we are encouraging everybody to come together and collectively fight crime to a standstill. The moment we continue to look at it as Christian, Muslims, farmers, herders, sometimes we may not get it right. There are sometimes that certain things will happen, you will make arrest, you arrest people from both factions, and you'll be surprised that at the end of the day, there are always collaborators from both ends. So that's what we are trying to say. For government, for locations of crimes, scenes of crime, just like your correspondent said, there are areas that sometimes will be very difficult to access. And you know, that is not within the purview of the Nigeria Police Force. We make use of what we have. If the situation is not accessible, there are some areas we go with a motorcycle, and you know what that means. So it's a terrain sometimes contribute, but that notwithstanding, we'll continue to do our best to ensure that lives are protected. Let me say this. If not for the intervention or the proactive nature of security agencies, the police and other agencies, the situation would have been worse. We must appreciate that. What you are seeing now is because security agencies don't sleep. They walk around the clock, ensuring that places are patrolled. For instance, just like what I was saying about Just Not, if not for the proactive nature of the Commissioner of Police, CP Basiewa, and members of the management team, it would have degenerated to something else. But as we speak now, there is relative peace. People are going about their businesses within Just Not. We will continue to do that, and we will ensure that we will do our best to provide the needed security for people to go about their business and do their business well.
Deputy Commissioner, I dare to ask, with the numbers that, I mean, with what you've just said right now in terms of security and all of this, our correspondent Chizoba mentioned back-to-back incidents that have taken place. Now, especially because we are commending what law enforcement has been doing, can I ask how many of the people have been apprehended thus far, especially with the back-to-back instances that have happened so far? Can you give us figures?
Okay, thank you. You know, people who commit this kind of crimes, they try to go to locations where there will be no security presence. You know, you will agree with me that secure policemen cannot be everywhere, even though we patrol everywhere, but they are monitoring. And they know the security agencies, they know policemen, they know we don't know them. They will always want to commit this crime where there's an absolute isolation. So they go to those places and commit this crime. And one of the things we do, because these are serious cases, whenever they commit this crime, sometimes it will take us time to apprehend them. And this incident we are talking about happened within a period of 5 days. The first incident happened on the 16th, and the last one happened on the 23rd, about 7 days or thereabout. So they happened in isolated places, and as we speak now, we are working around the clock. Some of these things will require some kind of tracking technology. That is what we are doing. Definitely, at the end of the day, they will be arrested. This is not the first time. They will be arrested.
Commissioner, yes, 100%. I agree with that. I agree with that. I understand. But you've not necessarily answered my question. Have any been apprehended? I respect the investigation, but in terms of apprehension, 7 days is not a long time. Have any of them been apprehended thus far? We're talking about back-to-back incidences. And if you're telling me that, yes, unfortunately, from a mobility standpoint, if they are able to get to the places and commit the crimes, to a certain degree, law enforcement needs to find ways, especially when we have identified that certain regions in the Plateau State are hotspots. If law enforcement has identified this, then by now, the correct kind of strategies should be put in motion for you guys to be able to get there. For me, I find it a bit strange that they can get there and kill people, but law enforcement cannot get there in good time to prevent these things from happening. So again, sir, has there been any arrest thus far? Yes, you are investigating, but a yes or a no, have there been any apprehensions thus far, sir?
No, no arrests have been made, but I've told you that, you know, this, if you have been to Plateau, you understand what we are talking about.
I have been there.
Okay, when crimes like this are committed, definitely they will understand the fact that the people will go after them, and some of them they will not even be in this state as we speak. And that is why we are calling on residents that what we need to work with is information. The moment they get any information, they should liaise with us. They should release them to us. With that information, definitely we'll get them. There are some people, they know when these things are carried out, but they, for fear or for whatever reason, they will not release him to the police. That is why we continue to appeal to them that at every point in time, what the police really need is information. But I can assure you that we will get them. We will definitely get them, and they will be made to face the consequences.
So for some of the residents that might be watching News Central at this moment with regards to what you've just mentioned about working with law enforcement, what are some of the things that you would insist that they do to make the job of law enforcement easier? When you say that some of them are afraid to work with law enforcement, what are some, in fact, not just for Plateau State, but for any other region in Nigeria, when you say work hand in hand with law enforcement, as a civilian, what does that look like?
Well, we appreciate some of their fears. Some, when we interact with them, they will emphasize the fact that when they give information, their identity will be exposed. No, we have gone beyond that. Now, at every point in time, we have people who are heads of these stations. You have their DPO, they have at the headquarters, all our phone numbers are out. And the moment you relate to the right person, the matter will be treated with absolute confidentiality. And that is why we are saying that they should not entertain any fear. They should come to the police, report. It is only when they do that that it will enhance our efficiency. And definitely the people will be arrested. They should not entertain any fear. They should come close to us and give us information. We are not asking them to provide the vehicles or give us fuel. No. What we are asking for is just information. That will help us to ensure that those who perpetrate those crimes are apprehended.
All right. Now, in terms of information, our correspondent Chizoba, Anionwe, mentioned that to a certain degree, there tends to be triggers, information before the attacks take place. Was information like this leaked or given to law enforcement? And is there anything that you guys did about it?
Well, for this particular incident, there was no information. But every day there are informations that are coming from the DSS, from our own intelligence department, from the good people of Plateau State every day. So it's not just a particular this one, but every day we receive information. They want to do this, they want to do that. Our men will go to, and sometimes when they give information, sometimes you don't even know where the information are coming from, apart from the conventional institutions that are vested with that responsibility. So you don't know where they're coming from. Some of them are just a decoy to distract the security agencies. But we don't take those things for granted. We go around, like I've said, the reason why you are having this peace on the plateau is because of the commitment of the security agencies. If not, it would have been worse. So we continue to do our best, and I will always encourage them to work with us so that we can achieve better results.
All right, Chizoba, let me come to you now. Chizoba, in recent weeks, we've seen plenty of deployment when it comes to the Nigerian army to areas where we have these insurgencies or violence taking place. However, when it comes to security, internal security in any country, here in Nigeria, is supposed to be the purview of the police. It only becomes the army's responsibility when it's an external thing. However, in these cases where we are seeing people using military-grade weapons, you have to deploy the army. But where the army interacts with the police is supposed to be the one in charge while the army supports. We don't see that happening here in Nigeria. And I'm wondering, Chizoba, from a reporter's angle, a reporter's point of view, do you think the Nigerian police is absolutely overwhelmed?
Thanks, Mazilo. Well, I may not be in the best position to say
well, from
that,
a reporter's point of
view,
view,
on the ground,
yes,
in the field, yes. So from what I've seen on the ground, in recent times, like the DCP said earlier, especially with these last incidences recorded in the state in the past 1-2 weeks, I mean, I've seen the police taking charge. That's the truth. Like during the mass burial in Barikin Ladi, after the Dorowa Babuje incident, the police were on ground, members of the civil defense and all of them. Of course, the military was also there, but closer look would show you more of the personnel of the Nigeria police. Again, after the incident happened in the town, we also saw a show of force. Like the day I was at the CP's office for a little brief, there was a show of force being led by the Nigeria police personnel and of course their vehicle and all of that. Yesterday, again, I went around to get updates for security situations. The police was also on the lead. So I think if this continues, I want to believe that there will be sustainable peace in the state, especially for Plateau State in Jos, where I reside, where I get to see most of these things. I mean, it's siren here and there, and I'm like, God, help us, you know. So, but from what I've seen so far, the police is trying to keep up to the responsibility. I would say kudos to the Commissioner of Police in the state, Basi Ewa. He's new in the state, not up to 1 month, but people are feeling the impact of his presence here in the state. So kudos to them. That's also what the community members are saying. And all they're asking for is that they keep up this tempo so that with this, the bandits, wherever they are, however unknown they seem to be, they will be seen very soon. And this is the promise they are giving and reassuring the people of the state that sooner than later, this peace will be sustained. Right. So I think that's it on that.
Right. Chizoba, thank you so much for what we call fearless reporting as usual. And Deputy Commissioner, again, thank you so much for your insight, the work you are doing in Plateau State as well. We do continue to monitor this situation, if I dare to call it myself, and bring you critical information from Plateau State. Thank you so much for your time.